A restless breeze swept across the long walk as Windsor's towers caught the first wash of dawn gold, and, though no trumpets sounded, the mood inside Kensington Palace felt unmistakably like the hush that precedes a relay handoff. King Charles' cancer regimen is progressing, Queen Camilla keeps the diary fluid, but it is the Prince and Princess of Wales who now move, almost imperceptibly, from runners-up to pace-setters. Today we trace the delicate choreography behind that handoff, and why insiders say William and Catherine are quietly building a command bridge for the reign that is coming, whether it lands in 5 years or 15. What follows is not a tale of palace intrigue so much as a blueprint in motion, a princess who refuses to outrun her own recovery, a prince who is shaping his kingship around climate action, and a brand new war room of advisors sworn to guide them through the tunnel between supporting cast and sovereign center stage. But first, one question hangs in every royal watcher's mind. How do you prepare for a crown you pray you will not inherit too soon? Keep that thought. The answer emerges in 3 unfolding layers, and just when you think you have the pattern, a single unexpected meeting in London Climate Action Week will spin the story in a new direction. Stay with us. And if you don't want to miss the moment the Waleses step onto the global summit stage in New York later this year, tap subscribe now, because the next cliff edge is closer than you think. Catherine, healing on her own timetable. Inside the Cambridge's private wing, aides keep a calendar divided into 2 discrete colors, pale blue for possible engagements and soft gray for health-first days. The ratio is no accident. Catherine's oncology team and her private secretary have agreed on a principle borrowed from sports medicine: stress plus rest equals growth. Short bursts of high visibility duty, trooping the color, garter day, followed by stretches of absolute discretion. The princess has embraced the formula with a discipline that surprises even her doctors. At home she follows a physician-designed protocol nicknamed the Quiet Engine, yin-style yoga at 7 a.m., plant-forward lunches overseen by Carol's trusted chef, a 30-minute sunlight walk in Home Park with Lupo's successor, and crucially, no digital briefings after 6 p.m. When she does re-emerge, whether filming a 2-minute clip for Children's Hospice Week, or supervising a planning session for her early years foundation, she delivers in full voice, polished and camera steady, then disappears before adrenaline can turn to exhaustion. Is she impatient to come roaring back? Friends insist the opposite. She's studying Everest return athletes, one confidant told us, the idea that oxygen debt must be paid slowly. That same source hints Catherine has a private motto taped to her dressing table mirror: strong things grow in the quiet of winter. Yet winter will not last forever. A tentative window has been penciled for her first foreign trip since diagnosis: Australia 2025, a tour originally shelved during the pandemic. Doctors will clear it only if scan results this Christmas match the progress they expect. If not, plans pivot, beaches give way to Balmoral Meadows, and the world waits a little longer. William, building a climate-era kingship. While Catherine remeters her energy, William drives forward in a territory many future monarchs used to avoid: global policy innovation. The Earthshot Prize, now entering its 5th cycle, has matured from hopeful prototype into a £50 million ecosystem spanning Nairobi, Mumbai, Bogota, and Tokyo. Insiders refer to it as COP meets Dragon's Den, and the numbers validate the hype. Finalists have attracted an additional £1.6 billion in private investment since 2021. Still, skeptics ask, is this a vanity project, or an embryonic royal foreign policy? Watch The Prince's Diary and the answer sharpens. In the same week Catherine announced her Ascot withdrawal, William appeared at 2 climate roundtables, one with Robert Irwin, whose Crocodile Park facility just installed Earthshot-winning solar desalination pumps, and one with London Mayor Sadiq Khan, whose new ultra-low emissions zone will trial a pilot fleet of zero-plastic street sweepers partly funded by Earthshot alumni. During a closed-door session at City Hall, witnesses say William spoke less like a patron, more like a head of state, probing supply chain obstacles, peppering executives with questions on scalable financing. He's moved from awareness to deal-maker, one UN climate envoy noted afterwards. This pivot, Prince as convener, not figurehead, is precisely what constitutional scholars predicted would define his reign: active, technocratic, and globally networked. Which leads us to the new architectural layer, the advisory brain trust forming beneath the surface. The invisible team. Buckingham courtiers still recall the explosive leak of Charles's so-called Black Spider memos 2 decades ago, personal letters to ministers that landed in court after a freedom of information battle. William is determined never to let private correspondence become a political albatross. Hence the hiring spree that began quietly in March. A former Downing Street legal counsel, an ex-World Bank climate finance director, an MI5 cyber liaison, and most intriguingly, a Pulitzer Prize-winning U.S. strategic communications guru who once prepped astronauts for International Space Station media days. What binds them is a code: advise, execute, vanish. Nothing leaks. Every draft statement is triple-screened for political neutrality. Every travel plan is filtered through public health, ethical footprint, and press impact matrices. If the private office once looked like a genteel post room, one palace old-timer quipped, it now runs like the Situation Room. Hilary Ford, the Washington-based royal analyst, confirms the shift. This is the moment they professionalize. Queen Elizabeth's first decade relied on grey men courtiers left over from her father. William and Catherine are hand-picking a cabinet fit for Davos and Silicon Valley. Ford believes the couple's private objective is clear: to be monarchy's first ready-on-day-one team since George VI. The king's stance. All of this would rattle some sovereigns. But Charles, say insiders, not only approves, he is quietly orchestrating. His courtiers cite a recent Balmoral fireside conversation, in which the king told aides, the Waleses must craft their own weather. Let them assemble who they need. What weakness in that? He knows better than anyone that a monarch's early months set perceptions for decades. He entered his own reign at 73, his son may arrive at 50-something, an age still spry by royal measure yet mature enough to lead from day one. As for abdication rumors, palace staff shake their heads. The king is responding well to immunotherapy. His weekly workload now averages 6 engagements, and he intends to preside over the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa next year. Remember, one senior equerry reminds us, the Queen Mother's watchword was never complain, never explain, never retire. Charles heard that mantra at breakfast for half a century. A glimpse ahead. What does all this mean for the average Briton who follows the royals with mild curiosity? 2 things. First, expect fewer, but deeper appearances from Catherine over the next 12 months. Think keynote speeches on early years neurodevelopment rather than endless handshakes at ribbon cuttings. Each slot will be chosen for maximum national uplift and minimal strain. Second, watch for William to fuse earthshot with invisible string diplomacy. Rumors already ripple that the 2025 prize ceremony will land in Mumbai, aligning with Britain's trade negotiation timeline and India's G20 climate deliverables. If true, the prince's philanthropic platform will double as a soft power amplifier, exactly the role a modern constitutional monarch can play without straying into party politics. Some will see calculation, others will see evolution. Either way, the Waleses are laying track. And just when you sense the plan is complete, remember the cliffhanger we flagged at the top, that unseen meeting during London Climate Action Week. Sources confirm a tech entrepreneur demonstrated a prototype satellite that can map methane leaks in real time, an Earthshot entry so game-changing the prince requested a private briefing for his father within 48 hours. If the trial succeeds, it could rewrite the UK's net zero trajectory and hand William his first state-level policy win long before accession. The crown may still gleam on Charles's head, but its reflection already flickers in his son's eyes, and beside him, Catherine quietly builds the resilience to shine when the frame shifts. If you want to see how that frame sharpens, how a convalescing princess, an eco-minded prince, and a stealth team of 21st century courtiers redraw the monarchy's compass, make sure you're subscribed. Because the next time Kensington Palace rolls out a blue carpet announcement, you'll hear about it here first, long before the morning papers catch up. Until then, thank you for watching, thank you for caring, and remember, institutions endure, but it is the human hearts inside them that decide whether tradition stays merely old or becomes truly timeless.